Welcome. This video is for Friday, December 4th. Here's what's happening today. We're doing some notes. You're doing a matching activity and then an ed puzzle. So let's get started. Just a reminder, if you weren't in class today, you do have class on Fridays, and we run through the whole 7-period schedule. So please come on Fridays. We just did a quick review talking about the activity we did this week about free African Americans, how they weren't totally free. So some ideas of class just to review of some evidence we picked up. Free African Americans often had to carry a document saying that they were free, and anybody could ask for it at any time. African Americans couldn't hold certain jobs, couldn't vote, could be kidnapped and sold into slavery, couldn't testify in court. Other ones couldn't hold firearms, couldn't drink alcohol, all of these different restrictions on free African Americans, which means that they were free but not totally equal within the United States. So just a quick review, or not a review, but an overview of abolition of slavery. The U.S. ends up getting rid of slavery pretty late, 1865, and we look at other industrialized nations at the time. It's pretty late, and we had to split the entire country apart to get there. This graphic shows how long slavery has been on the continent. So 1619 is when the first slave ship dropped off slaves in North America. And then land that is the United States keeps slavery for 246 years until 1865. Then we have a period of segregation where we don't have slavery anymore, but African Americans are highly abused and treated unequally in the United States. 1965 marks kind of the start of the civil rights movement, which makes gains for African Americans, but as we know, we've talked about, we're still working on civil rights in this country today. Just check. Okay. Let's see. You want to get out your notebook and copy down this timeline. Go ahead and pause the video if you need to. So 4 dates I want you to be aware of. American Revolution, 1776 to 1783. We become a country. All colonies allow slavery. Slowly states get rid of slavery. We have the War of 1812. We fight again against Britain, trying to get them off the continent, which really doesn't work. But the period of time between 1812 and the U.S. Civil War we call antebellum U.S. Antebellum is a Latin term that means pre-war and before the Civil War, and the Civil War breaks out 1861 to 1865. So we're talking about the antebellum, this pre-Civil War period right now. And this was a period of time of great change. We'll talk about this in high school, but there was a religious awakening called the Second Great Awakening, where people started to look at their lives a little bit differently. And this spurred a lot of different reform movements, reforms in prisons, education, trying to get rid of alcohol, the women's movement, the labor movement, and the mother of all movements, abolition, because if any ills are in society, being able to own another person is the greatest ill of all. So abolition is a movement to get rid of slavery, and the root word of abolition is abolish, to get rid of. Make sure you're pausing and writing these in your notebook. Somebody who's trying to get rid of slavery is called an abolitionist. These are famous abolitionists. This is Frederick Douglass, Sojourner Truth. These were 2 former slaves. We have William Lloyd Garrison, the Grimke sisters, all fighting to get rid of slavery in the United States. You're going to watch part of a video for your ed puzzle today, and he mentions the Deep South, so I just wanted to explain what that is. So before the Civil War, we have free states, we have these gray territories, we have border states that are yellow, these lighter red states we call the Middle South, and we have the Deep South, which was really entrenched in slavery at the time. I had mentioned when we talked about free African American evidence that there was this gentleman who wrote this memoir. He was... Hold on one second. Sorry, I thought somebody needed help. He was kidnapped, sold into slavery for 12 years, and eventually was able to get his freedom. So his name is Solomon Northup. This is his memoir, but I threw in the movie trailer for you in your stuff today, and I'll show you that. And then you're going to watch a clip of a documentary series from PBS called Many Rivers to Cross, and it follows the U.S. History through the African American experience, and it is done by one of my favorite historians named Henry Louis Gates Jr. I like historians who are interesting and explain things very clearly, and he does that both. He's a Harvard professor, and he also does a series on PBS called Finding Your Roots, where he takes celebrities and then traces their ancestors back. That's very interesting if you haven't seen that. But you're going to need this document from your Google Classroom called Friday, December 4th. It'll say in class. So it lists these in-class activities that we did. And then these are all the things that we've done this week. So you did step number 2 of your letter, and you can find that under November 13th, Letter to a Legislator. We did a worksheet where you analyzed pictures and said whether they were from the Northern economy or Southern economy. We did a free African American evidence piece, and you just had to do step 1 in that worksheet, but you had to find evidence on why free African Americans weren't truly free. And then today you need to do a matching evidence activity, and that's on the bottom of the sheet. I give you claims, and then I give you quotes on the bottom, and you need to copy and paste the quotes to fit the claim. So this one says the cabin was without glass windows. It had openings in the side which let in light and off in the cold, chilly air of winter. Then you would read through your claims and see the one that matches is the house that slaves lived in did not provide them with much comfort or luxury. And then you just paste in the quote. I messed up and there's one extra box, so don't worry, that one box is not filled. And then you have this Ed puzzle, Many Rivers to Cross, in the Google Classroom. You'll see under December 4th as well. Okay, so that is the matching. And like I said, you'll have an extra box. And then, oh, sorry, I was talking about the Ed puzzle. The first question of the Ed puzzle, I marked the correct answer wrong. So it'll tell you you're wrong. You're probably right. Just ignore it. Don't worry about it. I have a student that's collecting some data for their letter to the principal. If you have a second, just answer that question for them so they can have some data. Don't worry about it. It's optional if you don't have time. And then also optional, I'd like to start beginning in class with a good clean joke, school appropriate. So if you know of a good joke, put it in the box for me. And then some extras you might be interested in. When I taught Minnesota history, I used to use this series called North Star, Minnesota Black Pioneers. And it tells the story of the free African American population in the U.S. In the 1700s and 1800s, and I found it super interesting. So there's some episodes there if you're interested in this time period. And then here's that movie trailer for 12 Years a Slave that gives you an idea of what the story is about. The movie itself is R-rated, so you would need to talk to your human at home about actually watching the movie. All right, so that's it. Here's your list of stuff from the week. If you have any questions, please email, and I hope to see you in class next week.